Good morning, students. What we are discussing is long-term source of finance. Mainly, there are two sources of long-term finance: conventional source and a innovative source. The conventional source is again classified into two: external finance and internal finance. External finance including equity shares, preference shares, debenture, term loans, deferred shares. And the internal finance includes depreciation as a source of finance, capitalization of profit, retained earnings, or plowing back of profits. The innovative sources of long-term finance are venture capital, seed capital, bridge finance, lease financing, and factoring. Equity shares, preference shares, debentures are already discussed. Today we are discussing about term loans, deferred shares, and internal sources like depreciation and capitalization of profit. First one, term loans. Deferred debt capital of a company may consist of either debentures or bonds which are issued to public for subscription, or term loans which are obtained directly from the bank and financial institution. Term loans are source of long-term debt. In India, they are generally obtained for financing large expansion, modernization, or diversification projects. Therefore, this method of financing is also called projective financing. Then the meaning of term loan is: term loan represent long-term debt with a maturity of more than 1 year. They are obtained from banks and specially created financial institutions in India by private placement rather than a public subscription, as in the case with most debenture issues. The purpose of the term loan is mostly to finance the company's capital expenditure. Then, what are the features of term loans? The first feature of term loan is maturity. Banks and specially created financial institutions are the main source of term loans in India. Financial institutions provide term loans generally for a period of 6 to 10 years. In some cases, a grace period of 1 to 2 years is also granted, that is, moratorium is granted. This is the period during which the company has not to make any payments. Commercial banks advance term loan for a period of 3 to 5 years. Okay, next feature is direct negotiation. A firm negotiates term loan for project finance directly with the bank or financial institutions. Thus, term loan is a private placement. Sometimes debentures may also be privately placed to financial institutions, but most debentures issued are placed for public subscription. The advantages of private placement are the ease of negotiation and low cost of raising loan. Next one, security. Term loans are always secured. They are secured specifically by the assets acquired using term loan funds. This is called primary security. Term loans are also generally secured by the company's current and future assets. This is called secondary or collateral security. Also, the lender may create either fixed or floating charge against the firm's assets. Fixed charges means legal mortgage of specific asset. Floating charge is a general mortgage covering all assets. Next feature is restrictive conveyance. In addition to the asset security, lender would like to protect itself further. Therefore, financial institutions add a number of restrictive covenants. A financially weak firm attracts stringent terms of loans from lenders. The borrowing firm has generally to keep the lender informed by furnishing financial statement and other information periodically. Then next one, convertibility. Financial institutions in India provide huge amount of loan assistance to the companies because of the substantial financial stake of these institutions. In the past, they had the option to convert a part of the rupee loan into equity. financial institutions would state the terms and conditions of the conversion. Financial institution in India no more have the option of converting loan into equity. Then next one, deferred shares. These shares were earlier issued to promoters or founders for services rendered to the company. These shares were known as founders' shares because they were normally issued to founders. These shares rank last so far as payment of dividend and return of capital is concerned. Preference shares and equity shares have priority as to payment of dividend. These shares were generally of a small denomination and the management of the company remained in their hands by virtue of their voting rights. These shareholders tried to manage the company with efficiency and economy because they got dividend only at last. According to Companies Act 1956, no public limited company or which is a subsidiary of public company can issue deferred shares. Then these are the internal source of finance. Next, internal source of finance. The important internal source of finance are retained earnings or plowing back of profit, capitalization of profit, depreciation. Firstly, discussing depreciation as a source of funds. Depreciation may be regarded as the capital cost of assets allocated over the life of the assets. In simple language, it means gradual decrease in the value of an asset due to wear and tear, use and passage of time. In real sense, depreciation is simply a book entry having the effect of reducing the book value of the asset and the profit of the current year for the same amount. It does not affect current asset or current liability and it does not result in the flow of funds, or to say more precisely, it is a non-fund items. Hence, although depreciation is an operating cost, there is no actual outflow of cash and so the amount of depreciation charged during the year is added back to the profit while finding funds from operations. But then the question is depreciation a source of fund? The direct answer is no. But it can be said with the certainty that depreciation directly at least does not amount to a source of funds. However, under certain circumstances, depreciation helps a business concern to effect saving in payment of tax and dividends and amounts to withholding a part of the funds generated through normal trading operations. It is in this sense that depreciation can be regarded as an indirect source of funds. However, it is not even an indirect source of funds under all circumstances. To conclude, it may be said that to the extent depreciation helps in effecting savings in the payment of tax and dividend, it may be regarded as a source of funds. Next, internal source of finance is capitalization of profit. Capitalization of profit is the use of companies' retained earnings to pay a bonus to the shareholders in the form of dividends or additional stock shares. It is a reward to the shareholders distributed in proportion to the number of shares held by each shareholders. The capitalization of profits by issuing additional shares has no impact on the company's book value. It merely transfers funds from retained earnings or profit to assets for shareholders. In that sense, the company is using money but not losing it. A company may choose to capitalize profit for a number of reasons. They are providing an immediate rewards to the shareholders, or conserving its cash reserve for future growth initiatives. In this way, we can say that capitalization of profit is also regarded as a source of funds. In the next class, we will discussing about retained earnings or plowing back of profits. Then another topic is reason for using capitalization of profit. Capitalization of profit is the use of corporate reserve to pay a bonus to shareholders in the form of cash or additional shares. Another reason is it is a rewarding shareholders is one of the primary use of corporate cash reserve. This process has no impact on the corporation's book values. These are the reasons for using capitalization of profits. Okay, in the next class we will discussing about internal source of finance or plowing back of profit or retained earnings. Thank you.